Hello and welcome back to Mindspanse. I'm Craig and thank you for joining me today in this glorious setting. We're out in the Poconos on the lake and it's just fabulous. So couldn't be in a better spot. Today I'm going to continue talking about lucid dreaming and some ways that you can improve your chances of having a lucid experience, as well as how to plan and extend your experience once you have it. And that's really about stabilizing yourself within the lucid dream, as well as planning for that dream. And if you've seen the other videos, which you should go watch 1, 2, and 3, and 4, we walk through a lot of these steps. So in terms of just the whole process and what lucid dreaming is, which is becoming aware or conscious in your dreams. And the question is, why do we spend so much time going through this practice? And until you've had one, it's hard to say, other than to tell you it's the most amazing experience you may ever have, and the ability to cultivate it and learn how to do it better. It's like creating a whole nother life for yourself. You sleep for 25 or 30 years, and to take that time and turn it into incredibly exciting, adventurous, productive time, to me, that's worth it. To spend 6 months or a year studying. And for me, it's been a lifelong practice, probably for several decades now. So I highly recommend it. And I would tell you that it's really, really worth going through this process. So let's take a little stretch here and get ready. Smile, breathe deep, exhale through your mouth. Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, and we're good to go. So, stabilization and dream planning. So here's what happens, right? So the first time you have a lucid dream, and it happens to most people, is all of a sudden you realize, oh my God, I'm dreaming, and you're conscious. And if you've been trying to do this, you get so excited that you end up waking up. And you're like, man, that's terrible. I spent so much time trying to get to this point, waiting for waves and doing my dream signs, and I finally got lucid, and all of a sudden I got too excited. So it's really a balance. It's a balance of your consciousness and your unconsciousness, so that you find your own, and you'll find your balance over time. And trust me, all these practices, you do get better at this, so you'll have more and more lucid dreams, so you'll have the opportunity to get better once you're in a lucid dream, to stabilize and then extend the time. I mean, I've had lucid dreams that have lasted at least 30 minutes, maybe 35 minutes. So they've done a bunch of studies actually that like waking time and dream time are about the same. So you can tell that way. But so anyway, so let's talk about how do we deal with this. And there are really two things. One is planning. So you're putting all this energy into writing down your dreams and remembering your dreams and creating, writing down your dream signs and doing all your reality checks during the day and all the things that we've been talking about to prepare yourself for this moment of lucidity. And except once you get there, it's a whole nother thing. How do I stay there? And it's a challenge, but it's another thing that you can practice and get better at. And so the first thing is planning. So one of the ways to make sure that you have the best experience possible is to have a plan, so that when you do become lucid, you have a plan of what you want to do. And that could be to fly, or to face a fear, or to have some encounter with somebody that you are interested in, which a lot of people do. Or you could do really great philosophical meditative work, which eventually everyone gets around to. As you go through this process, you have enough adventures and you start saying, I really want to get deep into, how do I expand as a person and within this universe, and how can I be more helpful? And really the best way is to really, clear everything out of yourself And this is a great, incredible way to do that. So you have a plan. You say, okay, when I become lucid, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to chill out. I'm not going to get too excited. And I'm going to start executing my plan. So what are the components of the plan? So what do you want to do? Let's use flying as an example. And we'll use two examples. One flying and one, let's say, facing a fear or asking a question about your life or something more like that. So let's say, okay, I'm going to get lucid and then I want to fly. How am I going to do that? So in dreams, since you're not really physical, it feels physical and everything, but it's sort of an illusion of physicality. So gestures are more powerful than physical action. So like jumping and trying to fly is like too aggressive, like it's too conscious. So you sort of almost have to gesture to fly. And you'll learn how to do that better. But if you gesture yourself to fly, meaning like you sort of move your mind into flying as opposed to moving your body into flying, then you'll start to fly. Sometimes I'll like jump off of a cliff to start flying because it's easier for me. But I do lots of reality checks before I do that, just to triple check that I really am dreaming. Because even though I've done 2 reality checks, I'm like, am I really going to jump off this cliff? And but yeah, after a bunch of reality checks, I feel more comfortable about doing it, and that helps me get started flying. Some people have a really easy time flying. They're just like, and then what happens is sometimes you get too conscious and you start to get blurry or you lose the dream. And it's a beautiful breeze, so it may be rustly here a little bit, but hopefully you can get over the rustle. It's really nice. So sometimes things start to get blurry, or you start to feel like you're waking up or something, and the natural reaction would be to just sort of try to fall back and chill out. And actually, the data would suggest, and from my own personal experience, it's the opposite. You actually want to engage the dream more, and you can do that by grabbing like grass or talking to the dream. One of the things we'll talk about, if you talk to dream characters, they don't really do much, actually. If you talk up to the dreamer, the dream sky, then you will, the creation of the dream will be more effective, because the people are just sort of projections of various parts of yourself or whatnot, so they only have a limited perspective. But if you actually talk to the dreamer, to the dream creator, a lot more things happen, more interesting. So so you want to engage. And what some people do, and this is actually pretty well documented that this works really well, is you spin like a whirling dervish, spinning around. And that tends to center you back into the dream. So calling out to the dream, engaging into the dream itself physically, or spinning, for whatever reason, those things really work. And you can see what works best for you. And you can go online, and there's a lot of tricks that people have that work for them. And so I encourage you to go check all that out and try all this stuff and see. Everyone's different, so see what works best for you. And you'll find that some things work better at different times, at different types of dreams and things like that. So, like for me, like if I'm in a very if I'm flying or something like that, like spinning doesn't work for me. So I call out to the dream, or I try to migrate to another part of the dream. So I go from flying, instead of losing the flying, I call out to the dream to meet my grandmother who passed away. Or so I really would love to meet my grandmother again and see her again and chat with her. And that might take me into a new part of the dream and be, again, very, very much lucid at that point and in the dream. So that's ways that you can both stabilize as well as using this planning process. So you can also have backup plans like that. And it's surprising, like initially you may not remember them, but it'll happen right away. All of a sudden, like, oh, I have a plan. I'm lucid. I have a plan. And then you're like, yeah, I have a plan. But don't get too excited about your plan, because that's going to wake you up too. So yeah, it's a process. And people think I'm crazy for spending all this time on this stuff. But once you do it, you'll be like, wow, that's so worth it. It's so amazing. And it's such an incredible, uplifting experience. So the other type of dream that we're going to talk about is the sort of, I want to face my fears, or I want to have a question answered about, like, what should I do with my life at this point, or what should I do with the situation that I'm in? And it's sort of tapping into this inner universal wisdom truth, which is really real, actually, from my perspective. And like I said, a lot of people will ask dream characters, they'll direct their questions to the dream characters, but you really want to direct your attention to the dreamer. So as you become lucid and you look at all the people around, you realize that those people are projections. They're certainly worth chatting with and asking them questions and why. They're definitely engaged people. That's a great way to stay engaged in the dream. But as it relates to migrating yourself to a particular question or state, or facing a fear, or whatever it may be, you want to address the dream as opposed to the characters, because the characters only have their perspective, and the dreamer will create a whole new set of arrangements to help you either answer your question or engage in a particular meditation. I'll often meditate while I'm in a lucid state, which is really powerful. And one of the ways you can help reinforce all these practices, and it's a really cool thing that I will not take credit for at all. And I unfortunately, I can't remember. I've been trying to figure out when I read it and who wrote it, and I just can't yet. But I promise, if I find it, that I will relay it to you. But it was a really cool practice where you actually do this stuff during the day. So in your waking life, like we talk about integrating our waking life with our dream life, this is taking that a little further, which is really get yourself into the mood of asking yourself a question, and then about life, like what you want to do, or something that's really meaningful. And then in your house, do a short meditation, get very quiet, ask this question, have that question really become everything in you, and tell yourself that I'm going to walk out the door and I'm going to be in a lucid dreaming state where I'm going to look around the world as if I'm in a dream. So I'm going to look at everything, and I'm not going to do anything. Obviously, that would put myself in jeopardy, but I'm going to treat as if everything is a sign. And I'm really going to look at this experiment as if I am in a dream, I'm lucid in a dream. And so you walk out the door, and then you start exploring this world as if you're exploring a lucid dream, where everything means something. Everything is sort of guiding you somewhere or whatnot. And what you'll find, and apparently they've done studies on this, that people find clues. I mean, probably because their inner wisdom knows the answers anyway, and so your subconscious picks out things that will guide you to the right place. But it's still fascinating to go through the process, and that in and of itself is an incredible practice that I think you'll find extraordinarily helpful, and it also elevates your opportunity within the lucid dream to both extend it and have a deeper experience. So we have so much more to talk about, but I'm going to leave you at that. And it's such a gorgeous day. I think I'm going to go for a hike with my son, which I'm really looking forward to. and there are all these waterfalls around here and lakes, and so it's really, really beautiful. So I wish everyone an incredible, incredible day, and enjoy your sleep, and stay with this. Don't take it too seriously, meaning don't beat yourself up over it's a process. Watch the videos, work on the exercises, and if you put attention and energy into this practice, you will start to have more lucid dreams. You'll remember more of your dreams will become more vivid, and it will change your life. It's going to change your life in a really, really positive way. I mean, at a minimum, you start to get rid of fears, you start to get rid of anxiety, you start to understand how you react to people. I mean, we had this whole series I did on letting go of attachments, and all these things sort of flow together. All these practices flow together, which is sort of just getting rid of your constraints and getting rid of all that crap, and so that you can just be and realize that there's a perfection in just being. And then everything's cool. So I wish you all a phenomenal, phenomenal day. Thank you so much for your time. Please subscribe to the channel, share it with friends, and that's how we get the word out there. There are lots of other great people doing lucid dreaming work, so go watch their channels too. And that'll, I hope, help you get through this process to a point where you have your first lucid dream or your second lucid dream, and you do your first flying, and you'll be like, wow, I'm hooked. So be patient with yourself, be patient with your practice. And again, thank you and have a great day.